All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Sport Port. So obviously the setup a little different. Got me up in the corner now, but that's just because I want to put this window on the screen for you guys to actually be able to see. So obviously, as it says below me, NFL recent trades. That's all we're talking about today. That is it. Tomorrow we will talk about the betting for the Eagles Giants game, but today we are just focusing on the trades. So I'm on NFL.com here, where it has all the trades listed, and that's what we're going to be going with. Just in order. Some of these I don't really know about. Some of these I don't really care about. For instance, this one here. Bills add to secondary and trade with Falcons. Buffalo receives safety Dean Marlowe, and Atlanta receives a 2023 seventh round pick. So, it's like, okay, I don't really know anything about Dean Marlowe. Apparently, he's worth a seventh round pick, and it's just a seventh round pick, right? So, this one, I'm going to say something about it, but we're just going to kind of glide right over it. We're not going to talk about it for too long or anything like that. Then you got Falcons add a cornerback and trade with Chiefs. So you got cornerback Rashad Fenton, conditional 2023 seventh round draft pick. So I'm guessing if he gets a certain amount of playing time or something, it'll go to like a sixth maybe, right? But once again, nothing too crazy there. Here is one that I do want to talk about. So, Buffalo Bills and Indianapolis Colts. Buffalo got Nyheim Hines. Indianapolis got Zach Moss and a conditional fifth round draft pick. So, once again, it'll probably be playing time or yards or something like that. And then it'll be bumped to a fourth or something. I really like Nyheim Hines. I think he is a very, very good running back. I think he will obviously be there with Singletary. Singletary has been playing decent. But I like Nyheim Hines a lot. They got James Cook for the passing down back, but Nyheim Hines it looks like, going to be in that role now, probably, because maybe Cook just didn't turn out how they thought they would. But I like this trade. Conditional fifth and Zach Moss. They weren't using Moss anyway at all. So he'll be over on the Colts now. It seems like a decent win-win. Conditional fifth, Nyheim Hines, they have Deion Jackson over on the Colts, and he's been playing very, very well, even in that passing back role. So I'd say this is pretty good for both teams. Bills, they're definitely going to use Nyheim Hines, and they're going to use him a lot, and I think that they are going to use him very well. So I like that trade quite a bit for the Bills, but the Colts, they have Deion Jackson, so I feel like they will be just fine. Here is one. This one's a decently big one, too. So, obviously, the Broncos gave away Bradley Chubb. Not gave away, they got a bit for him, but... So, they went and they got another pass rusher. Jacob Martin and a 2024 fourth round pick, or a fifth round pick, and then the New York Jets got a 2024 fourth round draft pick. So, interesting. Apparently they don't really view Jacob Martin as much because there was a fourth and a fifth involved, right? So good for them. But obviously they got rid of Bradley Chubb, so this definitely helps them. And then we got this. This one is interesting. Jeff Wilson Jr. for a 2023 fifth round draft pick. Obviously earlier in the day they got rid of Chase Edmonds. So I thought that they might go out and try something else because I felt like Chase Edmonds should have been there. We'll get into that trade in a bit. But I do like this one for them. Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to be perfectly fine. Obviously, they have Raheem Mostert as well. But Jeff Wilson Jr. is a decent running back. So good for him. 2023 fifth round draft pick doesn't seem like overpaying or anything like that. So I like that one as well. Next, this one was a big surprise to everybody. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you guys, but or not. It doesn't feel like letting me. But there we go. So yeah, there's that. This was a big surprise. Calvin Ridley to the Jaguars, and Atlanta gets a conditional fifth round draft pick and a conditional second round draft pick. These conditions were very interesting. It was super complicated to go into. The conditions, there was a ton of them, but good for Jacksonville. Atlanta wasn't going to get any use out of Calvin Ridley anyway because they're not he's suspended. What are they going to do with him? And he didn't seem very happy beforehand anyway. He was talked about as a trade target before the suspension even happened. So, hey, works for both teams. Obviously, neither of them get anything out of it until next year, or multiple years from now with the 2024 draft pick. But Calvin Ridley over on the Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk and that, I like that. That could be a very interesting offense. Travis Etienne back there, I like that quite a bit. I always am usually in the player's favor just because that second even could turn out to be nothing. Nothing. Or it could turn out to be the greatest of all time. Like, you don't know, right? But you do know Calvin Ridley is good. You know that Calvin Ridley is a good wide receiver. So I kind of lean in that direction more because it is they got a second round draft pick. Yes, but who knows how that's going to turn out? We'll know 4 years from now, right? So I always kind of lean towards the side that gets the player. But next, here's a big one. So we got Dolphins and the Broncos. So we got Bradley Chubb and a 5th round draft pick. Miami gets them. Then Denver gets Chase Edmonds, like I talked about, and then a 1st round draft pick and a 4th round draft pick. So the 1st and the 4th makes sense to me. Chase Edmonds doesn't. Chase Edmonds, the only thing that I can think of is he was not happy with his role over on the Dolphins. And he didn't want to be there. So the Dolphins were like, okay, we'll send you somewhere else. And then they really, really screwed him and sent him to Denver, where their offense is in shambles. They already don't know what they're doing with Melvin Gordon and Latavius Murray. So now he is going to be back there with a 3-person committee. I feel bad for Chase Edmonds, to be honest. He was probably unhappy on the Dolphins, but now he would probably wish that he could have stayed there. I think that Miami gets the better of this one. Obviously, Denver's 2023 1st round draft pick, that could be big, but it's probably going to be a later round draft pick in that. So, really, I like this for both sides. Denver doesn't want to pay Bradley Chubb. He's going to get a lot of money. Miami could win now, really. So as long as everybody stays healthy, there's a very decent chance of that. They've already beaten the Bills this year, and that was when Tua probably had a concussion. So I like this trade for Miami and Denver. Hopefully they can do something next year with these draft picks, or a draft pick, because it's the 2023. But yeah, interesting trade. Like I said, I feel like Chase Edmonds just really got screwed on that one. This one I don't really know much about. 6th and 7th, and William Jackson, who I don't really know anything about. But here's one that I do know a bit about. People seem to be on Pittsburgh's side for this, saying that Chase Claypool should have been a 3rd or maybe even a 4th, right? I don't think so. I think that a 2nd round draft pick for Chase Claypool is an extremely even trade. Extremely even trade. Just because I always go into it with the mindset of you have no idea what that draft pick's going to be. It could be something amazing, or it could be an absolute dud that doesn't work out, right? So, Chase Claypool to Chicago. They get another big weapon. They obviously have Darnell Mooney as their best receiver right now. I think Chase Claypool will be the second. He'll obviously be the deeper guy in that because he is built to be a very good receiver. He just needs to actually be that very good receiver. And the 2023 second is a perfect payment for that. I like this trade a lot for both sides. Now here was a huge one. I was so excited to see this because I like the Vikings a lot. Kirk Cousins I like a lot. Obviously, I'm a Boston fan first. But everybody should have tiers. Whereas, hey, Boston for me is on top, right? That's just how it is for me. And then I got that second tier, where it's like, if these guys go against anybody in a tier below, in any of the tiers below, I'm going to root for them. Vikings are that second tier. I love Kirk Cousins a lot. I don't know why. It seems like most of the football community does, but I root for him. We'll see exactly what happens there, but that's my second tier, and then it's probably Eagles because I was super high on them before the season started when other people didn't like Jalen Hurts, and very happy about that as well. But here we got TJ Hawkinson, a 4th round draft pick in 2023, and a conditional 4th round draft pick in 2024. And then Detroit gets a 2nd round draft pick in 2023, okay, and a 2024 draft pick that's in the 3rd round. So nothing too crazy there. I think that Minnesota really won this trade. Like, really, really won this trade. Because you get TJ Hawkinson, who, yes, he's going to ask for a bit of money. Pay him. I mean, he's not an elite. He's not, Travis Kelce or George Kittle or Mark Andrews, right? But he is in that next tier of very, very good tight ends. And Detroit has a very good young team with Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift, and that. I think they should have kept him. I think they should have paid him. But they didn't. They gave him up, and I don't think it was for nearly enough at all. So, I mean, we'll see how it turns out. I think TJ Hawkinson is probably happy about this. He's now on a still very good offense, but on a better all-around team, right? So, good for Minnesota. I really think that this was the worst trade of the day when it comes to someone losing. But Detroit, I think, got terrible stuff for this. I think that they could have done much better than that. But hey, good for Minnesota. I hate this trade for Detroit. It is what it is. Now we got Baltimore receives Roquan Smith. Chicago receives AJ Klein, a 2nd round draft pick, and a 2023 5th round draft pick. So I don't really like this for Baltimore. Baltimore, I don't think should be in a win-now state. I don't think they are a win-now team because I don't think they could win it all this year. I think there's not a chance of that. But they might think differently because Roquan Smith would have been a free agent next year anyway. Obviously, he's going to want to get paid a lot. But, he's an amazing linebacker. So, it's not unreasonable for him to want that. So I think that Chicago or Baltimore should have just waited. They're not going to win it all this year, in my opinion. So they wait. Maybe they get him as a free agent, and then you're good to go. But they need to worry about paying Lamar, not Roquan Smith, right? They need to worry about Lamar and getting him. And maybe I think they should have traded for a receiver instead. If you're willing to give all this up, trade for a receiver. Lamar needs it. I'm pretty sure Rashad Bateman's out. I'm pretty sure Mark Andrews is injured, right? So why would you not go for a receiver instead of Roquan Smith? I don't get that. But, good for the Bears. They got a 2023 2nd and 5th. And a linebacker who's not nearly as good as Roquan Smith, but still, they have someone to fill that position immediately, right? So, I think that Chicago won this one by quite a bit as well. I think the Baltimore needs to get their priorities in order, but clearly they see something I don't. Obviously, I think Roquan Smith is an amazing linebacker, but I think it was a bad trade for Baltimore anyway. Next, and I liked this one a lot, Chiefs got Kadarius Toney. New York gets a 2023 3rd round compensatory draft pick and 2023 6th round draft pick. I think that the Chiefs are going to utilize Kadarius Toney in a great way. I think Kadarius Toney has been healthy, but he doesn't want to be on the Giants. I think this is absolutely great for the Chiefs. And New York, clearly they weren't going to do anything with him anyway. Kadarius Toney didn't want to be there, whatever. So, it works for both teams. I mean, at least you get a 3rd round compensatory and a 6th round, you know? So it's not like they got fleeced or anything for him. I think that's a perfectly fair amount to give up for Kadarius Toney. But I like that one quite a bit. I think Kadarius Toney will be electrifying on that offense over there. And then we got the Eagles and the Bears. Robert Quinn for a 4th-round draft pick. Nothing crazy here. I mean, I don't think either team really won or lost or anything like that. I'd say good for Chicago. They're getting their draft picks. Next, we got Cowboys, Raiders. This isn't something I super care about. 7th-round draft pick, 6th-round draft pick, and Jonathan Hankins. I don't even know who that is. So, this one was also interesting. James Robinson, 2023, conditional 6th-round draft pick. I think that New York wins this one. They needed the running back. They got the running back because Breece Hall went down. And Jacksonville, they obviously have Travis Etienne. But I think, maybe a little more than a 6th, right? Like maybe, but it is conditional, so we'll see exactly what happens. But, maybe a 5th conditional or something like that would be closer. I just think a 6th isn't very good. But we'll see what happens there. They need a running back. They got a running back. Now here's a big one that a lot of people are talking about. So we got a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th-round draft pick. The 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in 2023. The 2024 draft, they have a 5th-rounder. For Christian McCaffrey. I think it's pretty clear after watching that game, Christian McCaffrey is still amazing. Literally amazing at the game of football. So the 49ers are fine. They're probably not going to miss these picks a ton, right? Chances are one of these picks will turn out into something good. I would have to imagine, hope for Carolina. But Carolina is in that rebuild phase. I feel amazing for Christian McCaffrey because he's finally out of there. But, I wish it happened with DJ Moore, but it didn't. But yeah, Carolina, they need picks. They got picks. 49ers, I wouldn't say they needed a running back, but they got one of the best ones. So I'd say it works out for both teams for what they need. Obviously, it's very fun to see Christian McCaffrey on an actual good team, finally. This one, Cardinals get Robbie Anderson. Carolina gets a 6th and a 7th. It's Robbie Anderson. He's not very good. 6th and 7th isn't very good. I would have rather had the picks, to be honest. So good for Carolina getting all these picks. And then, we get down to, some more 7th-round draft picks and that. But this is a while. Yeah, you're looking at September, 7th and 6th and that. But, yeah, so those were all the trades. Obviously, there were some big ones. There were some that I agree with, some that I don't agree with. But it was a very interesting day yesterday for sure. Uploaded a ton of the TikToks and those did super well. So thanks to anybody who was over on there. I really do appreciate it. But I think that's going to be it for me. So thanks to anybody who stopped by. I had a lot of fun yesterday doing the TikToks. And I'm very excited to see how a lot of these trades turn out. But I will see you guys with that betting video tomorrow. So thank you.